NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day NFL Show. Today we're talking about survivor pools for Week 5. I'm going to go through all the games and give you the strategy that I'm implementing this week in Week 5. Hopefully you guys avoided that shit show last night with the Rams losing at home to the D Squad 49ers. What an absolute disgrace that game was. We had a missed field goal, blocked extra point, missing the landing zone in the kickoff. We got a fumble on the 1 yard line. Blake Corum can't catch a toss. It's just like they did every possible thing wrong. And the 49ers, every single shred of luck went their way, doinking in to the field goal at overtime. It was just crazy, man. I did lose one. I think I got like 10 different entries in different contest, right? I did lose one with the Rams. Absolute bummer, guys. But we're going to go through all these games. I'm going to break down my thought process behind each and every one of them and show you what games I'm targeting here in Week 5. Vikings, Browns. I'm avoiding this game like the plague. Carson Wentz, quarterback for the Vikings. Dylan Gabriel is now the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. This game is overseas. I don't like anything about this game. Right? The Vikings give up some of the most sacks in the entire NFL, and the Browns have an elite defense. Number 1 or number 2 in the NFL, in my opinion, right? They can get after the quarterback. They can stop the run. I don't know. The Vikings and Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz got pounded last week. It's just, I don't like that spot at all. Next, let's move on to the Broncos and my Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, guys. Excuse all the sawing and hammering and all that bullshit. They're putting up a new apartment complex right next door, so just bear with me for the foreseeable future, guys. I really appreciate you and all your time. And if you want more NFL content, picks, bets, predictions, make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. And only 30% of the people watching the videos are actually subscribed, which is crazy. That means 70% of you aren't subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, guys. I don't like this game either. The Broncos and Eagles offensively don't look great. Bo Nix played good last week versus Cincinnati, but I could play good against Cincinnati. That's how bad that defense is, right? So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Other than that, he's looked not so good this year. And the Eagles offense with new offensive coordinator Kevin Patula has been a dumpster fire. A.J. Brown's freaking out. Saquon Barkley looks like a bum. Like, I don't know how you could have all this talent and make it look so inept, right? So survivor-wise, I don't think the risk is worth the reward. I'm on the Splash Sports website right now if you guys are interested in checking out their website. They have win probabilities here. Rams were 81% to win pregame and lost. So take that with a grain of salt. Cowboys, Jets, I think this could be a potentially high-scoring game. Both defense have really struggled against the run and the pass, right? So I think Pickens over could be interesting. Breece Hall over in yards could be interesting if you're into prop bets, right? But for me, this is a 50-50 game as it's listed here on the Splash Sports website. I do ultimately think the Cowboys win in this spot because I don't think the Jets can keep up for as long as Dak Prescott can with scoring points without making mistakes, right? So I don't love this spot. I probably go with the Cowboys to win here, guys, but Cowboys offensive line's banged up, the secondary's banged up, they can't get after the quarterback, and the Jets are kind of in a similar boat, but their offensive line is young and pretty talented, right, with Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu at the tackle spots, right? So I'm not in love with that spot. Texans versus the Ravens, right? No Lamar Jackson this week. He's listed as doubtful. I don't think he's going to play. But on the flip side, the Texans, offensively, the offensive line has been really bad, but the Ravens' defense is riddled with injuries. The amount of guys on IR and out this week are crazy. Even Kyle Hamilton popped up on the injury list this week. I like the Texans to win, but another game I have no interest in survivor pool. I think there's better spots here. Giants, Saints, kind of the same situation as the Cowboys and Jets. Two not so good teams, and Jackson Dart is the quarterback. Spencer Rattler, the quarterback for the Saints. Two young quarterbacks. I do love the Giants' defense, especially the front seven, to really disrupt things for Spencer Rattler and this offense, right? They haven't been super consistent all year long. I expect Abdul Carter and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence to wreak havoc. I like the Giants to win in this game, But another game I'm not super excited to bet on for survivor purposes. Next up, we got the Raiders and the Colts. I like everything the Colts are doing. They lost that heartbreaker to the Rams last week, and that's only because Adonai Mitchell just gifted the ball away into the end zone because he didn't run into the end zone before ditching the ball, which was a huge mistake. He also had a huge holding call that brought back a monster run from Jonathan Taylor, right? So the Raiders lost their best offensive lineman this past week. He's done for the year. I like the Colts, especially at home. I do like the skill position players for the Raiders, though, but I don't know if they're going to be able to block for them. Ashton Genty's talented, but if he has no running lanes, it's tough sledding, right? Geno Smith has 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. Not a great recipe for winning in this league, in my opinion. I'm going with the Colts in this spot to get a W, and I like them in Survivor. I have a couple of them sprinkled in, right? Dolphins, Panthers. Chuba Hubbard, the running back for the Panthers, has just been announced that he's not playing in this spot. And we did see last week the Dolphins were a little shreddable against the run. Without Chuba Hubbard, that's a huge bummer, right? Because I thought Chuba was going to have a really, really good game. But I like the Dolphins to win this in this spot, even without Tyreek Hill. I think A-Chain and Waddle will be able to do enough in that spot. I don't know. It's not a game I want to bet on. If it's a 50-50 coin flip game, there's no edge for us there. Buccaneers, Seahawks. Buccaneers had that tough game against the Eagles last week. They got to fly all the way to Seattle. Time change, which is never good, right? So I like the Seahawks to win. It's going to be a tough game. You know, Splash Sports has it 64-35. I think it's more probably in that 55-45 range. But I like the Seahawks to win, but I'm not interested in this game at all, survivor-wise. Cardinals should beat the Titans, even though they've been pretty inept offensively. I want to check the injury report and see if Will Johnson's playing, because that would be huge for them. He's looked really good when he's healthy. The offense, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray still aren't on the same page. But between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, I think they're going to look pretty good. Trey Benson and James Conner aren't going to play this week, so the running back situation is not great in Arizona at all. So, there are some other spots I like, but I think Arizona, if you're in multiple tournaments, just betting against the Titans every single week, I don't see them, winning more 2 or 3 games this whole year. So if you can avoid that, I think that's a good spot, right? Commanders, Chargers. Jaden Daniels is in. Terry McLaurin is out. The Chargers' offensive line is really, really banged up. This is a really close game. I think the Commanders steal this one on the road here, guys. I don't want anything to do with this in Survivor at all. All right, this is the chalk for me this week. This is the best spot. The Bengals are terrible. They have no good players at all. Jake Browning sucks. No good players on their defense that are healthy, right? Trey Hendrickson went in and out of that game last week. Shamar Stewart hasn't played in weeks. And outside of those 2 guys, there's not a lot of talent on that defense, right? Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are great, but not with Jake Browning throwing the ball behind that shit offensive line, right? They got blown out last week by the Broncos. I think they get blown out again. So if you have the Lions, that's probably a good spot. I might double up on the Lions in this spot because Arizona, I don't want anything crazy happening, but they are on the road. I don't love that. But I think betting against the Titans is a good strategy. I like the Cardinals. I like the Lions. And these last 2 games, Patriots, Bills, I don't like this. Even though the Bills are huge favorites, the Bills defense has given up a lot of yards. If you go back to last week versus the Saints and the week before that with the Dolphins and the Saints were both in those games, till the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, right? So if Josh makes a mistake in one of those spots, they can lose those games, right? So, they're letting teams hang around, and one of these teams is going to bite them in the ass at some point, right? The Patriots maybe are that team here, guys. So, I don't like that spot. The Bills should win, but division games, Bills' defense isn't that good, in my opinion, right? So, I think the Bills win, but survivor-wise, I'm out. Chiefs, Jaguars. I like the Chiefs in this spot. They look really good offensively with Xavier Worthy back in that offense in the mix. But survivor-wise, I'm out on that. I like the Colts. I like the Cardinals. I like the Lions. That's pretty much the spots I'm going to stick with this week. I like the Rams too, but man, what a shit show. Sean McVay, you got to be ashamed of yourself for losing that game, man. Crazy. And Kyron Williams, dude, hold on to the ball. You're at the 1-inch line, dude. Come on, man. Protect that football when you're running in the middle of that defensive line, man. Come on, dude. That was a bummer. Bummer. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. I hope this will help you out in your strategy for Survivor this week. Again, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You guys are the best. Peace.